Just start with a serious story on the back of the Mail. It's a Mike Keegan exclusive this morning. The headline, Grealish attacked. Mike writes that a 20-year-old man has been arrested and charged after Jack Grealish was slapped in the face by a fan at the Manchester derby. He was making his way off the field at Old Trafford following Sunday's draw when he was beckoned over by a member of the crowd next to the tunnel at the bottom of the Stretford end. In shocking scenes, Grealish was then assaulted, triggering a police investigation. A man was subsequently charged with assault and will appear before Manchester magistrates in July. Both City and United declined to comment due to the live investigation.
Yeah, it's one of those things you don't want to say too much about, so I won't. But I will say, how is it exclusive? It's the front page of the Sun.
I think it was Mike's story. I think the Mail got the story. Yes, I think it was his exclusive. It does make the front page of the.
And we can't talk about it, Greg. We can't talk about it.
Yeah, it is an open case, so we can't.
He's been charged, so absolutely.
And we can't talk about it. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Let's move on then. Yeah.
Let's move on then. Okay, let's do this story then on the back of the Sun. Delap is United target. Liam Delap is quickly emerging as Manchester United's top striker target this summer after they shelved interest in Victor Gyökeres. Former Man City forward Delap has caught the eye during his first season in the Prem, scoring 12 goals in 30 matches. Gabs, we know Man United have got to have a couple of cracking windows to get back to where they want to be. Delap good enough to make the jump up to one of the traditional Big Six clubs?
Well, I'll take him over what they've got. So he's better than Højlund, better than Xerxes, what they have available. But if I'm Delap, I'd probably tell him not to go there. I feel like it's negative at the moment. Manchester United, anyone who goes there, bar Fernandes, has been a disappointment in recent years. I would go to a different club. I want to go to Arsenal. I could see him at Arsenal, I really could. But has he done enough yet to warrant a team that's fighting for the Premier League title? I don't know. Does he need a step in between that?
Yeah.
You know, like a West Ham. West Ham will need a striker in the summer. Ferguson's on loan, isn't he? Maybe a West Ham might suit him better. I'm not sure, but I do really rate him.
Yeah.
Great finisher, big, strong lad, and he can hold his own in the Premier League.
I just wonder as well, Manchester United, you know, they're linked with Liam Delap and they're linked with Mateus Cunha and that. Who's leaving Old Trafford to facilitate these players coming in? You know, I'm not saying that Manchester United haven't got the money, but PSR is not going to allow them to spend in the way they want to. I love Liam Delap. I think he's going to be. I think he is a brilliant player. He's a proper handful. And you're right, Gab. You compare it to what Manchester United have got right now, and
where do you reckon it's good for him, though, Jeff? Where do you think he needs to? He's got to be careful where he goes.
That is the difficulty. So many clubs interested in him. Chelsea are another one who's being mentioned now. I'm not sure I would be going to Chelsea. And they are in desperate need of a striker, but I'm just not sure I'd be going there. They have so many players on their books as well.
Do you know what? He needs to go somewhere where he's going to play week in, week out. Like, do you know what I mean? Even a West Ham, and then that might help him break into the World Cup squad next season.
Gabs, a story I think you're really liking the Sun this morning. Obviously got the Arsenal game tonight, but massive game for Villa tomorrow night against PSG. Dave Kidd in the Sun putting Brums on seats. It was a night of nights in early October when Villa Park welcomed back the elite European football after hiatus of 4 decades to be there at one of English football grandest, most historic and atmospheric stadiums as Bayern Munich were vanquished in a Champions League group match was a rare privilege. So I left the ground feeling delighted for Villa supporters, which is strange because usually when English clubs play in Champions League football, I couldn't honestly care less whether they win or lose. I don't think I'm alone in the Premier League's Big Six were difficult to love even before they tried to sell English football, going off to that European Super League. He then goes on to say Villa are an authentic club competing in Europe's top table with underdog status, with a modest net spend, with a likeable, talented manager, and with supporters who have followed their club through thick and thin. And he says we can all support Villa in Europe. Do you feel like non-Aston Villa fans are really getting behind Villa? And is it different because Villa aren't kind of one of the traditional top 6 clubs in the Champions League?
I think so, just like last season with Newcastle. I mean, I was supporting Newcastle through the Champions League campaign, especially when there's new teams to the Champions League. You want them to do well. But what I'll say about Aston Villa is, if you look at clubs that are a bit of a shambles at the moment, Leicester, Southampton, Aston Villa, owners who don't need to be by the cameras, don't need to be by the tunnel when the Sky cameras or TNT cameras are coming around. They're hidden. They put money into the club. They've got a manager who runs the club, bigger than the chief executives and sporting directors at the club, Unai Emery, his club. A nice group of players, and they've got quite a good base of English players as well, which is always good to have in your team. So Aston Villa fans are in for a treat for seasons to come, not just this season. A very stable club, Aston Villa.
And Jeff, you was excited. Obviously, you're not a Villa fan, but you know, will you be watching tonight? Should people be wanting Villa to get through tonight?
Well, you know, absolutely. We should be wanting them to get through. I'm wary of PSG.
Oh, of course.
I mean,
Jesus.
They won their league on Saturday just by the 22 points at the moment. You know, so I'm very worried. But yeah, of course. And I'll tell you what, the breakfast show came from Aston Villa's training ground earlier this year, and oh my goodness. What an impressive setup, and what an impressive set of people. Not just Unai Emery, but Gabby mentioned, you know, directors of football, chief executives, things like that. They all seemed to work together. They, you know, it was the right hand knew what the left hand was doing, and it was just very harmonious. And you can see why they're doing so well. I'm not sure about the low net spend, by the way. Take a look at the wages.
Dave Kidd's words, not my words, Jeff.
Yeah,
that's what that's something
the
Dave did
wages they're
say.
paying out for Rashford and Asensio.
Yeah, of course.
You know,
yeah.
But that's a tiny little niggle. They've done absolutely brilliantly so far this season.
Exciting two nights ahead, isn't it? Well, 3 nights, Europa League.
It's got that big kind of fight feel to it tonight, doesn't it? In the next couple of nights, it's going to be brilliant.
Do you know what, Sam, as well? The Bayern Munich game, I was there. I was emotional, mate.
Yeah, you said.
It was like your team has beaten Bayern Munich in the Champions League at home, and that set the standards for Villa to where they are today. And it's going to be tough against PSG, but if there's a manager who can find a way, it's him. Yeah, it's him.
Yeah, massive night of football. Yeah, Stoke against Luton.
Big relegation battle, Jeff. It is. It's tight down there.
Look, the Championship we'll talk about it. All the top sides are playing. Most of the bottom sides are playing. Birmingham City can get promoted from League One this evening as well at Peterborough. So, Sam, thank you very much indeed. That was a look at today's back pages with Tesco Mobile for Business.
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.